patron of Dayapuram School, Mr. C.T. Abdul Rahim, the Volunteer-in-Chief and Executive Secretary, C.T. Adil, the Principal, Mrs. Jyoti P., the jury, industry leaders from the IT industry, the invited guests, parents, teachers, and non-teaching staff, and my dear children. How many of you are football fans? Okay, there are quite a few of you. How many of you watched the opening ceremony of the World Cup? Okay, most of you watched it. Now, when they started the opening ceremony, it started with a black actor and a differently abled young man. And it was a conversation between the two of them. Now, Qatar is one of the most prosperous countries in the world. They could have done anything they wanted. If you look at the previous World Cups or Olympics, it's all a demonstration of the technical capabilities of those countries and to showcase the country. But Qatar did it very differently. Why do you think they did it? I would say they did it to send a message across the world, a message of inclusiveness and compassion. Now, there is a connect between that message in Qatar and your school. What is it? Almost 40 years back, that message of inclusiveness and empathy left the shores of Qatar, traveled over the seas and reached this beautiful city of Kozhikode, and then on to this school, Dayapuram School, in the form of a very magnanimous man, Sheikh Ansari. And it is his vision of that inclusive, empathetic school and taken on by people like Mr. C.T. Abdul Rahim, who took it forward and brought the school to what it is today. So, no, it's an amazing story to recollect at this juncture. So that story of inclusiveness and empathy and the way you do that in a very anonymous way is something very commendable, and I congratulate the school for that. Because of the compassionate way the school is run, each of you might come from slightly different circumstances. Some of you might be coming from little more difficult circumstances. But what I would like to remind each one of you and each one of us, that we are all blessed in abundance. Just think of that young man in the opening ceremony of Qatar. No, he had to work so much harder to reach where he had reached. And there are millions of others suffering from different kinds of disabilities and who are differently able, where they might take 100 times more to learn something that you might do in a very short period of time. Some of them might take thousands of hours, and some of them would never be able to achieve what you can achieve. So please use those blessings and do the best and take your rightful place in the world. So as I said, compassion and inclusiveness is the first thing I found very, very enriching in the school. The second one is the fact that IT is taught from a very young age. When I first heard that IT is being taught in the class 1, I was a bit intrigued whether it is too early to teach IT. But then I come from a different era. I saw a computer for the very first time when I joined for engineering. Today, we live in a very, very different world. And when we talk of literacy till recently, it was the ability for someone to read, write, and do basic math. But today, we need another skill, as addressed by our patron, earlier today. You need digital skills to really actively participate in the local community. And on that count, it is very admirable that the school is teaching or imparting digital education from a very young age. Now, it's also a step which can lead to a career in IT, because even today, IT is one of the most promising career option in our country. So, it can lead to a career in IT, but does it that the fact that you are learning IT from a young age lead to a career in IT? I would say no, because market condition is not the only consideration when you choose your career. There are, I would say, two more very important factors. One is, are you good at it? Now, everyone can't be good at everything. Now, some of you might be very good in coding, and you might have other skills. So the second consideration should be whether you are good at what you do. And an even more important consideration is, are you passionate about it? Okay, you might be good at something, there might be a market for it, but unless you enjoy, you have the passion for it and enjoy doing it, you might find it difficult as you move forward to continue in that profession. You might feel bored, and you may not enjoy what you're doing. So passion is very important. It leads to happiness. In the American Constitution, there is this phrase, in pursuit of happiness. It's almost like in Indian language, it is one of the fundamental rights. So how do you pursue happiness? I'm not talking about there are multiple dimensions of happiness, but I'm just talking about choosing a career or finding your calling. Let me narrate a small story. There is this person called Pedro who lives in a coastal village in Mexico. He's a fisherman. He gets up early in the morning, around 4 o'clock, goes out to the sea. He catches enough fish by around mid-morning. He comes back, sells the fish at the local market, goes home, has lunch with his wife, have an afternoon siesta, that is afternoon sleep. Then around 4 o'clock, he'll wake up. When his kids come back from school, spend time with them. Then evening, he'll go out with friends, come back, sleep. Then he goes through the same cycle every day. Then a startup investor lands in that village. He asks Pedro, why are you stopping fishing at 10:30? He can continue to catch more fish for the rest of the day. Then Pedro asks, why should I do it? The investor says, you will earn more money. Pedro says, what am I going to do with this money? The investor says he can buy more boats, and you continue to grow, and eventually you'll have a fleet of fishing boats. Then Pedro asks, then what am I going to do with it? Investor says, that's when the fun starts. You will get investors, you will make it even more. You might move to Mexico City or New York, list your company in the stock exchange, then you retire. Then Pedro says, what will I do after retirement? That startup investor says, then you can retire to a coastal village. No, you can maybe buy a fishing boat, go fishing, spend enough time with your family and kids, spend time with your friends. Pedro thinks for a moment and he asks, that is what I'm doing now. Why should I go and do all this stuff to end up doing what I am doing? Now, why am I telling you this story? I'm telling you there is two different thinking on how someone can attain satisfaction and happiness. Whether there's the startup investor who thinks you should chase your dreams, make a lot of money, build something big, and then you'll be happy. Then there is Pedro who thinks, I'm happy with where I am, with what I am. So who is right and who is wrong? Any ideas? There is no right and wrong answer. It all depends on who you are, what you would like to do with your life, what's the kind of person you are, and there are 1,000 other ways in between. So at this moment, let me wish you all success in your studies. May each one of you find your calling and find something to do that will bring you happiness. And I wish the school all the success. You have gone wonderfully over the last 40 years. Let the next 40 years be even more productive. And I look forward to going around and seeing all the stalls here. It's very interesting. I know the quality of some of the projects is what I would expect in a IT sort of tech fest. So I'm really delighted to be here. And then now let me go on to the task assigned to me. I declare this digital fest open. Thank you.